few things we're going to talk about.
401k God.
I guess there's a few things that we can talk about today that we're going to talk about today.
Are we live?
Yeah, we live, bro. We might be here talking. We might be pulling you in. Just do them 60 frames, no lag. You do them shows by yourself with nobody in there. We might be doing a joint like you right now, man. Hold on.
Oh, because I'm looking at YouTube. I don't see. Maybe let me refresh the window.
Yeah,
okay, now, yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Right.
Oh, actually, I'm gonna give you the link. You can.
Yeah, let me tweet this shit. Let's tweet this out right here.
But what's going on, P-Rock? I see you had the Count Dracula slippers on.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm out there, fucking pissed off. I have to wait for season 2 of Castlevania. So you're like, fuck this shit. I'm gonna do this shit myself.
You had what the hell? What's the weather like that over there? It's the same as the summertime like it is here?
It's a little bit colder. Because we're further north. So I would say like if we look at North America, like how Canada weather is. You know what I'm saying? So right now was yesterday a high of 77. You know what I'm saying? So the weather's like, I think out here, people said the last 2 weeks and the first 3 weeks of July and the first 3 weeks of August are usually the hottest. Then after that, it goes back into fall real quick and then winter like a motherfucker. So the temperature's more colder. I'm in Germany. Okay, all right. So the weather's colder.
Okay.
Up here, it tends to be colder climate and stuff like that. But we have, so you know why we decided to, there's like a whole bunch of castles out here. The one we chose is one that belongs to a Prussian royal family. It's huge. It was nice. The only thing that sucked is we weren't allowed to take pictures of the inside. So the only pictures I posted, they said no photography on the inside. Mainly because I think a lot of the stuff, the original paintings are still there and they're not protected from flash. So like let's say like if you go to Paris, right? The Mona Lisa is encased in a special glass that reflects light, so that way you don't damage the painting. None of the stuff inside this castle has any level of protection, so everything is
I thought it was like for some espionage type shit.
No, it's just not espionage, but everything is in its original form. There's no glass protection from constant flashing and all that, so to protect the interior and all that, they don't allow photography or whatever. The inside is crazy beautiful. I mean, they had like diamond necklaces, original armor. Like, yo, that place was fucking loaded. Jesus. I was like, yo, but it's nice, man. It's good shit. Inside is crazy.
Any English?
I mean, they had like diamond necklaces, original armor. Like, yo, that place was. Also, no, the different types of tours. They have a tour in German. They have a tour in Italian, an Italian speaker. I was part of the English tour, so they have an English speaker. So at certain times, the tour guide, they have a specific language of the most popular languages that show up. So we waited for the English speaking tour. So it's pretty cool, man.
All right,
man. So it was good shit, man. So next week we're gonna go to Paris.
Damn.
We're going to go to Paris for about 2 days. So we're not gonna be able to do a show next week on my channel because I'll be in Paris on Sunday.
Well, how is it driving?
Yeah, we're driving. It's about a 6-hour drive.
Damn.
Yo, it's crazy because like Europe. Look at it like America. Like you could drive anywhere in Europe. Yeah.
State,
You could drive it's like going from New York to for example, when I was living in North Carolina, it was like a 10-hour drive to New York, to visit my family. In that same amount of time of me driving here in Europe, I could go to Switzerland, I could go to France, I could go to Austria. I could go to all types of motherfucking places. And the thing is, since it's all part of the European Union, it's like it's the same as driving from state to state.
Yeah,
as long as I have my passport, I can fucking go anywhere in my car.
What's up with the currency? Didn't Europe pull out?
So well, the European Union, most countries use the same currency. The only currency that's different, I know England, they use the pound. Norway, Switzerland, they use what's called what is it called? Because you saw Harry, he has his Romania, they use what's called the lei. And Norway, they use shit. I got some money over here. Hold
on. Grand opening.
I'm back. Okay, so I got my little, I got my fucking Jason Bourne collection here. I'm out here with 3 different passports. The Krone. Norway uses Krone. So everybody uses, for the most part, the European Union uses the same euro, and there's a few countries that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? So, but for the most part, it's not really all that hard because when you go to the airport, you can exchange money easily, in and out. So yeah, it gets confusing Like fucking, like when I was in Norway and like I buy like a pizza sign, they'd be like, "Oh, it's 250 krone." I'm like, "God damn, how much is that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's like $20." Is that's what you have to get used to. You know what I'm
Oh, it's
saying?
like $20.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying. But it's like 280 krone. You're thinking, God damn, you know what I'm
Shit, the
saying?
fact that I'm
So you
paying
have to,
$20
so
for a
yeah,
slice of
so
pizza.
yeah, so
Shit.
you have to carry a lot of bills because you know what I'm saying. It's just more bills
Well,
to
here's the
carry in
thing,
your
man. Here's the
pocket.
question.
But
I'm
yeah,
a little small talk. We're gonna get to. I promise we gonna get to the gaming stuff. But
yeah,
if your debit card, right?
yeah,
Say if you have your debit card, you know what I mean,
yeah,
and just for shits and giggles, and I know that they accept debit card, so
yeah.
it would just take the right amount of money out for.
Yeah, yeah. So automatically, so some places is still a cash economy, meaning more places still only do cash to cash transaction. But the places that do debit and credit, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you swipe it, yeah, they're charging you whatever the currency is, euro, krone, lei, whatever, right? Pounds.
Mm-hmm.
But the bank automatically does the
Adjusts it for
equivalent
you.
to US dollar. Yeah, they do the automatic. When it comes out of your account, it comes out as US dollars. But depending on your bank, you might get charged an international transaction fee
Gotcha.
for the conversion. You know what I'm saying? Like my bank, I don't get charged that. But
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? I don't get charged international transaction fee. But like let's say something costs 60 pounds, I mean 60 euro, it'll be the equivalent of $78. And that's what you'll see deducted from your bank account. When you look at the statement, you'll see $78. You won't see euro deducted from your thing if you're from a US bank or whatever.
You can
You know what
shout
I'm
out
saying?
to
So
everybody
it does
in the
all of that.
chat. If you guys would be so kind as to hit the like button. Put this on Twitter. I was in Twitter jail. I went to Twitter prison for that fight that spat on that happened on Twitter.
The what fight?
When you got dragged into.
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah, I went to Twitter jail for like a couple hours. So
Did you?
yeah.
Like, man, you in Twitter jail for like,
Hey, bro, they be on me, man. That's why I'm.
like, goddamn, like, holy shit. Like, I haven't been to Twitter jail once yet.
Yeah, hey,
Like,
bro,
not once.
hey, bro, listen. And you can
Yo,
speak.
it's,
I
it's,
didn't even
it's,
say
yo,
nothing too crazy next week.
it seems like fucking they're building a wall for you.
Yeah, man. I didn't even say nothing too crazy. Black Bond said, I guess he was felt threatened or something. I'm like, this shit is wild, bro. I'm gonna stay my mom my business, man. I ain't got nothing to say,
Yo,
man.
you know the rule, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't go back in jail, man. Once you're on probation, gotta
Yeah.
stay away.
I'm like Meek Mill. I popped the
They
Willie.
try-
They tried to give me 10 years.
they're trying to give you 3 strikes.
Yeah, all I did was pop a Willie in the sidewalk, man. They tried to hit me with 10 years yesterday, man. Like, what the? Come on, man. Like, yo,
Yo,
for
that's
real.
crazy.
You see what this
Yo,
guy's saying to me? Yeah, but he's still like, oh, y'all tweaking.
Yo, that's just funny.
Yeah, man. We're getting shout out to everybody in the chat,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Everybody in the chat for
Let me
swinging
retweet
by
this
and
out.
rocking out with us. Like I said, we're gonna have a very entertaining show. Now, I'm sorry. I'm about to actually be seeing the chat right now. I was just tweeting out my damn self. You said something to me earlier. You said that, and it's crazy. It's just a hot topic, and we're talking about this already. But as far as these new consoles, I did something with D and post hopping yesterday about with AMD saying the developer or dev saying a minimum or whatever, well, not a minimum, but it was 7.4 T flops for 4K 30. I mean, and with basically the graphics that we have now that's on the PlayStation 4 or whatever.
Yeah.
So to hit that 100% of the time, you need 7.4 flops, right? At a minimum. That's not meaning that if any Unreal Engine 5 may come out or whatever the hell Ubisoft uses. You know what I mean? What we have right now, to 100% of the time, do that at 4K 30, you need 7.4 T flop, right? So,
Okay.
so we did the video yesterday. So at a minimum, I said that, the next generation Xbox or Xbox 2 or PlayStation 5 will be at least 7.4 T flops, right?
Yeah.
Now look at it like this, right? Imagine if again we didn't get the Pro and we didn't get the X. It could have been, we're saying that the Pro could have been Sony's next generation, which is 4.2 flops. And again, it's still a beefy. It's more than twice as powerful than what they launched with, and in 2013. The same thing for the X. And I also said we've had those consoles about a year and a half, 2 years now. How you said the new has worn off, right? You know what I mean? Talking out, me, I was never against mid-generation upgrades, right? So so at least, not saying for sure, so at least Sony's next console probably will be about 8 between both Microsoft and between 8 and 10, right? Cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said this right. What was told to me, again, and let me choose my words wisely. You got what I was saying during the show, and actually I did
Yeah.
something else besides just talking again. Same person. I spoke to my peoples again, right? The same person said when it comes to hardware, almost like Microsoft won't be outgunned again. You
Yeah.
heard what Phil saying during the E3. He likes saying he has the world's most powerful console. Right? And I said it's not going to matter them having still the world's most powerful console. I guess like for bragging rights, whatever.
Yeah.
But if they're talking about No Gamer Left Behind, right? And you have and they still, which probably be great for business sense. I mean, they probably sell a shitload of more software right like that. Still have to make games that's going to fit around the parameter of hardware that came out in 2013. For Sony, their PlayStation 5, 99.9% chance it will be backwards compatible with the PS4 library, but you're not gonna be able to play PlayStation 5 games on your PS4. Sony wants you to go out there and buy their new hardware, right?
Yeah.
And again, so Sony, as far as the exclusive wise, that's what I was trying to say. And I don't know if they didn't get it or just whatever the fuck, like it's crazy.
So,
But
so you were trying to explain to them then, and for the audience, for everyone listening, we're kind of talking about the last BGST episode, and Zaire was explaining all this stuff. So to clear up confusion, I think what we have to do first, because I don't think this was done. Like if I would have been on the show, which God forbid I'm never going to be on that show, because I understand that's an Xbox centric show. That shit would be a mess if I was in there. Like Crap Gamer will fucking like quit. You lose another member. But now in reality, let's make sure everybody understands backwards compatibility and forwards compatibility, because that wasn't cleared up. That's the first thing. All right. Backwards compatibility is taking the next generation platform, Xbox Scarlet and PS5, and having everything we're doing now playable on those platforms. That means all these PS4 games and all these Xbox One games are playable on Xbox Scarlet. We're going to call it Scarlet for now, and PlayStation 5. That's backwards compatibility. Okay. Forwards compatibility is taking the games made for Scarlet and PS5, but you could still play them on Xbox One platform. That means the vanilla, the S, and the X, right?
mm-hmm.
So those are the terms people have to understand. All right. Forwards compatibility does not benefit the next generation console. Again, I'm not talking about anti-consumerism. I'm like, oh, here's Puerto Rock fucking protecting companies. No, I'm trying to make sure people understand the situation and the definition. Forwards compatibility is not a selling point for the new generational hardware. It's a selling point to stay on your old hardware. Because like what you were trying to say, if I can play Halo Infinite on my Xbox One X or Xbox One S, then what incentive does buying a Scarlet? Or vice versa. If I could play Horizon Zero Dawn 2 on my PS4 Pro or PS4, then what incentive does PS5 really truly bring? You understand? So that's the first point you made, which I don't think they understand. Forward compatibility doesn't benefit the next generation consoles if that's what you're trying to push into the hands of consumer, right? That's what you were saying. They didn't get that. Number two, if you're trying to make a game forwards compatible, meaning it's playable on the PS4 and it's still playable on the Xbox One platforms, that means those games are built to play on those console.
Yes, sir.
And then it just looks better.
Yes, sir.
On the next generation console.
Yes,
okay.
Mm-hmm.
In order for games to progress, there's a certain line where you have to cut the umbilical cord, meaning
yes,
you can no longer make a game. Like if the Xbox Scarlet has 24 gigs of RAM, I'm just making up numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, fuck it. Let's say 16 gigs of RAM, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of DDR4. Let's say next generation hardware, right? And they allocate 12 gigabytes for gaming on the Xbox Scarlet, right?
Yes, sir.
What is the point of having that if the game is still stuck on 5 gigs of GDR5 RAM on the Xbox One? You built the game with 5 gigs of RAM. What's the point? With Xbox Scarlet, you want more than just native 4K and 60 frames. You want the world to be bigger. You want more non-playable characters. You want more, fucking foliage, and you want more towns. You want more activity. You understand what I'm saying? You want the world to be bigger, more vibrant, better physics. You want it to handle Unreal Engine 5, Frostbite Engine 4, all the next generation shit. You know, shit that Xbox One and PS4 cannot handle. But if you make a game built for Xbox One, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just so you could say, just so you can have the audience for PS4 and Xbox One, then really, when you look at Scarlet and PS5, that's just refresh version 2.0. You're not building products from the ground up on that platform.
Hold up. Shout out to my brother Dragon More. Read this in the super chat. Read that. Question for you.
It says it's a better benefit for both BC. It satisfies the early adopters and those who just got the One X. Here's the thing, BC, I agree. You know, because if you buy a PlayStation 5, right? But there's still, let's say, like, for example, you buy a PlayStation 5, right? In that same year, The Last of Us came out, right? The Last of Us 2. Let's say Sony releases the PlayStation 5 in 2019, and it's the same year The Last of Us 2 came out, right? With PS5 having backwards compatibility, you can buy the next generation platform while still being able to play PlayStation 4 games, right? And if Sony does, you know, enhancements, kind of like what Microsoft did, that's a bonus. You play a PS4 game enhanced on the PlayStation 5. Cool. That's great. That's great for the consumer. You take everything with you. That's backwards compatibility, right? But let's say if they make Horizon Zero Dawn 2 and it's playable on the PlayStation 4, then they built Horizon Zero Dawn with PlayStation 4 in mind and enhanced PlayStation 5. But that's not what we want. We want Horizon Zero Dawn 2 to be an authentic PlayStation 5 game. We don't want a Horizon Zero Dawn, another Horizon Zero Dawn built on 5 gigs. If Sony says, hey, PlayStation 5, you know, minimum, you know, we allocated to developers 12 gigabytes of DDR4, the next generation RAM, right? Then that's what we want to see with a PlayStation 5. I don't want to see Horizon Zero Dawn 2 enhanced on the PlayStation 5. That doesn't really do nothing. That's just PS4. Literally, they might as well call it PS4 Pro. Yeah. I don't want a PS4 Pro. I want a PS5. I want to move on to the next generation. Sure, put games backwards compatible. Have fucking Neo, fucking Tropico 5, and all this shit that PS4 had. Put it on there. Let it be playable. Enhance them. Because that what Microsoft did was taking these games and enhance them. That's a great thing. But when I buy Horizon Zero Dawn 2 and they advertise it's a PS5 game, then let it be a PS5 game. I understand, you know, whatchamacallit, Xbox was talking, but you know, the game sells. I don't give a fuck. You know, I mean, I ain't gonna say I don't give a fuck. I understand these companies are in to make money, but like you said, if you paid $500 for an Xbox Scarlet, you ain't pay $500 to play Xbox One X enhanced games. You want to play Xbox Scarlet games. That's what you paid for. You didn't pay for an upgrade of enhancements. You want that game built from the ground up, you know? And you brought a good point. Look at Titanfall 2 to Titanfall 1. Because the game was built with 5 gigs in mind. The world was big, it was more active. Now, you could say the gameplay was bad. That, you know, that's just design choices. But the actual look, the graphic, the size, everything was better. Even whatchamacallit, Destiny 2. The world is much bigger than what we got with Destiny 1. Because they weren't limited to a half a gig of RAM. They now had access to 5 games. We can argue the gameplay. We can argue how, you know, Activision, you know, the microtransaction system they use sucks and it just rips off the game. But that has nothing to do with the architecture and the actual design game choice. You know what I'm saying? What we're talking about is if you're limited to 5 gigs, then the game's going to be 5 gigs. But if you have 12 gigs, right? And you built the game. And here's another thing. If the games are built with PS4 and Xbox One in mind, them shits is still limited to fucking Jaguar.
Yeah.
You know? What's the goddamn point of having Ryzen chip if you can't build the game from the ground up to utilize Ryzen chip from the very start? You know, and that's what we're talking about.
You know what? At the end of the whole Dragon, I guess, you know, Dragon More when I hop in with it.
Who?
The guy that you're answering this question, bro.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, give me a second. My Firefox is stuck, bro.
Oh shit! Give me a
second. I'm streaming still. I'm using OBS, but
all right. And I know. Just to keep talking, I know people be like, "Well, Porter Rock, what about PC?" You know, PC and consoles are in 2 different situations. I'm gonna tell you why. All right, PC every year they get new hardware every single year, right? If you're like me, a PlayStation vanilla owner, right? Or Xbox One vanilla owner, right?
Mm-hmm.
Our console technically is using hardware from 2012
Yes, sir.
because the consoles was released in 2013,
Yes, sir.
but it was built with 2011, 2012 hardware. What PC is running The Witcher 3 with 2011 hardware? None of them. They can't run the game, you know. But a PC gamer maybe, you know, got 2015 hardware, and that's the reason why they're able to play The Witcher 3, even if it's 1080p at medium settings. Yeah, sure, they're able to run it, but that's because they
You
have
have what you call a minimal,
yeah.
specs required. And
No one is playing
yeah.
The Witcher 3 with 2011 PC hardware. You can't even boot the motherfucker up. That motherfucker will fucking shut down and explode.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You have to
But that's because every year PC gets new hardware. So yeah, somebody with a 2016 PC or 2015 PC is still playing today's games with decent specs, maybe 1080p 60 frames. You know, you adjust it to what you can do. But ain't nobody adjusting 2011 PC to run The Witcher 3 at 1080p. Oh shit.
So, well, see, hey, what's going on, Drake? So, like, you know what I mean? You got what I was trying to say, or going anything. I said so. Basically, even if Sony does have hardware, the exclusives will look better. Don't be the shits and giggles. No, all this is subjective. What you like, and I'm not saying that. You may not like God of War. You may not like Detroit Become Human. You may love Sea of Thieves. Maybe for that really is your goddamn game of the generation, which is cool. I get it. All this is subjective. I'm not saying what's better. We're just talking about judging by what we see. You know what I mean? And again, I will give you an example. Forza Horizon 4 looks amazing. Gears of War 5 looks amazing. Right?
Yeah.
But when Sony showed Last of Us 2 and what do you call it, Ghost of Tsushima, it looked like they actually moved the generation. People just PC or this is something, you know, PlayStation 5 dev. You know the talk that was going on, right? And again, when I love Gears, my favorite game. I streamed yesterday for 5 hours playing Gears, right? No one thought Xbox 2 when they saw Gears. You understand what I'm saying? So, and like I said, you know, if you look to what Rod Ferguson said, Gears is built from the ground up to take advantage, you know, for PC 4K 60. Fine, fuck it, I get it, right? But when Sony releases, you know, the PlayStation 5, whether it's The Last of Us 3 or Horizon Zero Dawn 2 or 3, whatever it is, they're building it from the ground up to take advantage of everything that's inside of the PlayStation 5. You know what I mean? And that's why I'm not really a big fan of, you know, they said no gamer left behind. To be honest, gaming is a very, very selfish hobby. You know what I mean? I was basically pro-choice. I was all about these mid-gen refreshes. People were talking about it's going to fragment the community. Not you get what you pay for. You know what I mean? And again, the same reason why they cut off the 360 because they wanted people to buy the Xbox One. You know what I mean? I just think even that model of having the shinier version of the game, it's not going to work because again, the Pro is not Sony's #1 selling console, and the fucking X is not Microsoft's selling one console. People can still enjoy the same goddamn. You know, I'm not saying they don't have a huge adoption rate, but people can still enjoy the same goddamn game on regular $200 goddamn hardware. I mean, now and more. You there, good brother?
Yeah, man, I'm here. You guys can hear me?
Yeah, you can use coming on crystal loud and clear. Now, shout to everybody in the chat. Normally shout you guys out. If you guys come in, please hit the like button. So you don't agree with me and Puerto Rock, or you have I read what your comment. You know what I mean? But again, the X. I want to say this to add to your comment. The X is not, or even the Pro. It's just to run what you already have a little faster. It's not a mid-gen refresh. You know what I mean? They're never going to develop a game from the ground up to take advantage of the X or the Pro. You know what I mean? So I mean, you have of course the X looks better than the original Xbox One. Some games are in the Pro, but it's not that big of a. I'm just keeping it fun. I'm keeping it all the way above. It's not night and day. And if I go out there and spend $500 on some new shit, I want my socks to be knocked off. You know what I mean? But you don't feel that way?
No, not really.
Okay, talk to me.
And the reason why is because when you say that these are not mid-gen refreshes, I to a certain extent I get what you're talking about. My point to Puerto Rock, what's up, Puerto Rock, man? I enjoy listening to your content, man.
Thank you, appreciate it.
But the whole issue with Microsoft, I think Z, you had actually already addressed it on a different podcast, and you were saying about, I think it was you and Mighty Mouse was talking about Microsoft focusing on cloud gaming. Well, if you think about it, the Xbox One X is one of those games that could, take advantage of forward compatibility, because just like what you just said, nothing has been built from the ground up to take advantage of the X,
Okay.
right? And so like I said, I'm actually with you on that. No gamer left behind. Me personally, when I heard that, I was, in my mind, I'm like, that's a big mistake, because, gamers get left behind, but they eventually catch up.
Okay.
You shouldn't, this isn't Vietnam where, you got to do multiple rescue missions. No, if you put it there, and eventually people will see the difference between the two consoles. So, like, to what Porter Rock was saying, if I get a game that's built from the ground up on the Scarlet, then that's cool. I'll go ahead and I'll get the Scarlet. Well, technically, that's not true. What Microsoft is trying to do is that they're trying to, increase their lead faster, because they know that eventually, Sony devs will get, they'll get the hang of the PS5's architecture, and they're able to squeeze everything out of it. That's only a matter of time, and Microsoft knows this. So what Microsoft is simply going to do is they're going to keep the X. They're going to give the developers, the option of, hey, do you want your game on the X? You feel like you could take, advantage of that, or do you want to just, say the hell with it? Go ahead and develop it for the Scarlet.
Okay, let's check it out. Look like this. Maybe you understand. The X, right? Comparing the X to the 1.3 T flop console that came out. Maybe you may understand like that because they're still not doing anything. Comparing what came out in 2013, right? Has a beefier GPU, right? But it still has that same Jaguar dog shit CPU. Okay. And we're talking about performance, and again, that's why you still have, whatever 4K 30 or up whatever 30. You know what I mean? We're talking about a new generation. You're talking about again making new games to still, be coded around them old as Jaguar core CPUs. Doesn't make any sense. That's literally again taking a step backwards. Like, you know what I mean? Honestly, you know what I mean? And we're talking about again, and again, like I said, if for personally, shout out to those that bought the X. I love it. They got the Pro. But again, so but if Microsoft releases a console in 2020, if shits and giggles, the X came out when 27. Like that, nobody's like, come on, you didn't get your money's worth out of it. Time to move the fuck on. You know what I mean? Time to move the fuck on. Put that baby to bed. It's a fucking wrap for that shit there, man. You know what I mean? I
Can I also
want
mention something?
gaming to move forward, man.
Yeah. Can I say something? So
Yeah.
here's my thing. Because I understand his point of giving developers options, to make the games forwards compatible, so you can take advantage of the huge, market share that Xbox One created instead of starting over. But why? And I heard those conversations from other podcasts. What I don't understand is, why are people talking as if that's an issue in the first place? Because that was already done from the get-go. We already had cross-gen games. I mean, was Destiny not on 360
Yes, sir.
and PS3? Was Rise of Tomb Raider not on 360 PS3? So developers, they already know how to do that. Like, if a developer wants to make a game PS5 and PS4, Xbox Scarlet and Xbox One, they already know how to do that. It reminds me of the conversation when people were hyping up UWP, right? And they were like, oh, this is what's going to help bring PC games to consoles. But while this conversation was happening, I'm looking at my PlayStation, and you had a PC game called Dreadnought, and it's not on Xbox. So I'm thinking, is there really an issue with developers being able to port games between platforms? I don't think there is. If anything, the fact that PS4 and Xbox One is x86, cross-gen titles are even going to be easier because it's the same architecture across all. So I think they're even going to have an easier time doing cross-gen titles than they did with PS3 and PS4 Xbox 360 and Xbox One. So I don't think forwards compatibility is something. I'm not saying it's not good to have or it's not a good idea, depending on how the business is implemented, but it's not a detrimental need. You understand what I'm saying? Like if Sony doesn't do forwards compatibility, you're still going to see, if a third-party developer publisher wants to do it, you're still going to see a PS5 and a PS4 version. That's still going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So if they make Destiny 3 and Activision wants it cross-gen, it's still going to be a PS4 game at their choosing. You know, the lack of Sony implementing forwards compatibility is not going to stop anyone, because developers and publishers have been doing this for the longest already. It's not a big deal on this, you know? The concern is this, though. If Microsoft is pushing forwards compatibility because the main goal is, you know, software sales, engaging with the users, still utilizing the users that you have, that's fine. On a business strategy, that is okay. And I think, you know, at the end of the day, Microsoft will make their money to do the best for a business. I think, and this is not even a big deal between us, but in the conversations of podcasts and just, you know, just talking amongst gamers, if you see Fable 2 on Xbox Scarlet, but it's forwards compatible, meaning it has to run on the One S in the vanilla, then that means the game was built with 5 gigs in mind. While Horizon Zero Dawn 2, not forwards compatible, not built with PlayStation Pro, whatever, it's going to take advantage of whatever the PlayStation 5 has. So let's say if the PlayStation 5 has 8 gigs, 10 gigs of game development memory, when you compare the two, and this is just us, you know, I'm not talking about business. This is just us on our podcast. Z's gonna, you know, he's gonna do his Don King Entertainment. He's gonna put both pictures up. One will clearly look better because one was focused on complete redesign, built from the bound up on PlayStation 5, while the other one is gonna have limitations because it has to have concessions. And Z's gonna be, you know, he's gonna get drunk, pop his pills. He's gonna be on IV. He's gonna be like, "What the fuck are we looking at?" You know, he's gonna do his show, and he's gonna entertain. You know, just for the sake of our little group, just to have fun and pop shit. But that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna be like, "Why the fuck does Horizon Zero Dawn 2 look better than Fable 2?" You understand what I'm saying? May not be a big deal in the grand scheme of things, because at the end of the day, as long as Microsoft makes $2.6 billion a quarter, they don't give a fuck about Z having a heart attack. You know, but I'm just saying, in the sense of us having podcasting and talking conversations, prepare for those conversations amongst gamers. They're going to compare these games, and they're going to be like, why does this look better than this when they both have similar hardware? Or, God forbid, I ain't going to say God forbid, or if Scarlet has superior hardware, but it's not showing it in the products that they're releasing. They're going to be like, what the fuck is happening? And some people are going to be like, well, you have to cater to the Xbox One S crowd because Microsoft's making money. And people are going to be like, oh, here we go again with this catering to the common denominator guys. You know, me personally, I'm cool with backwards compatibility. I think Sony would be retarded not to have PS4 backwards compatibility, because gamers now, like iPhone and Galaxy, imagine if you buy an iPhone 9, but you can't take all the shit you bought on your iPhone 8. That's not going to make people happy. So Sony has no choice but to do backwards compatibility, because that shit's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. Everybody that invested in PS4, they want that shit carried over. But I don't think people are going to have an issue that a PS5 game is exclusive to PS5. In fact, people will understand, and they look at a PS5 game, they be like, "Oh shit!" They may not do it the first. They may not do it the first year. But as time goes on, people will naturally gravitate over to the PS5. You understand what I'm saying? And you don't want a hindrance to be like, "Man, why the fucking PS5 don't look that great?" You know, it does. I mean, all right, it looks a little bit good, but it's only a little bit better than my Pro. So I don't really fuck it. I'll just buy Horizon Zero Dawn 2 on my Pro, and I just fuck it. I'll just stick with what I got, because it doesn't look that much better, especially if you're gonna ask people to pay $500. You know what I mean?
Hey yo, MM2K said says his Bill loving ass in the corner is called min specs. That's been making it a requirement forever. Check Steam. It keeps the GameStop not and better performing.
That's a good point. You know what I'm saying? Because when you did that BGST, let's take a look at. I'm gonna use The Witcher 2 for example, right? The minimum specs at the time when Witcher 2 released was Windows XP, Service Pack 2, Windows Vista, Service Pack 2, Windows 7, 3264-bit. The hardware, Intel Core 2 Dual, 2.2 gigahertz, or AMD Athlon 64 X2 5000 plus. The memory, 1 gig Windows XP, 2 gig Windows Vista, and Windows 7. And the video card, 512 megs of RAM, supporting Pixel Shade 3.0, pretty much a GeForce 8800, right? But then when they released Witcher 3, minimum requirements, Intel CPU Core i5 2500K 3.3 gigahertz, AMD CPU Phenom 2 X4 940, NVIDIA GPU GeForce GTX 660, or AMD Radeon HD 7870, RAM 6 gigabytes. That's 6 times more than what we had, or 3 times more compared to Windows 7, DirectX 11, and the space. So why did Witcher 3 have a much higher minimum spec over The Witcher 2? It's because of the game design. It's much bigger. They did more stuff. Their old minimum spec for Witcher 2 didn't cut it. They had to cut the umbilical cord. Now, most people don't see that often because every year, PC comes out with new hardware every single year. I got a PlayStation 4 vanilla. This motherfucker's still running on 2011 hardware. It was really 2011, or at least the most 2012. It was released in 2013, but if you look at the internal guts, that shit's 2012. Why the fuck would I buy a 2019 console whose game's running on 2011 hardware? At a certain point, just like The Witcher 3, you got to cut that umbilical cord and be like, yo, 2 gigs of RAM ain't enough. You need minimum 6 to run this game. You ain't got 6? You can't play The Witcher 3. Sorry. You know what I'm saying?
And again, that's the way that I look at it. I mean, from a business sense, I can see them, again, the ultimate goal, again, is to sell a shitload of software. That's where the money's at, right? They're going to put their games everywhere, whatever the fuck the case may be. I get it, and I understand that. But it's me being a gamer, and what, listen, I take beauty before brains. You know what I mean? American way, fat asses, fast cars, and apple pie. Me all goddamn day. And I want this thing to go forward, and we're still looking to what No Gamer Left Behind. Now, maybe, man, I would hate to question integrity, but people are holding field to that. But fuck it, man. I'd rather be pissed off than pissed on. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. He says, Garuda, let's shout out to Garuda. What's going on, good brother? He said, why does God of War, Detroit, and Spider-Man look better than Sea of Thieves, State of Decay 2, Crack Fiend 3, 4 over 6? We still have more photorealistic games like Ghost of Tsushima and The Last of Us 2, the cartoon box 1L. Down, I say talent. People will make an excuse for Rare. I've never been on the Rare hype train, and there is no fucking excuse.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. Rare don't make, for the most part, realistic graphical games. I don't remember them ever really doing that much.
Shit, Killer Instinct? I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but even then, Killer Instinct has that clay looking thing. You know what I'm saying? Like Rare is not the type to make a The Last of Us. And I'm not talking about an exact replica. I'm talking about using real people, design your characters like real people, real stories, whatever. They haven't really been that company. I think maybe the closest is Perfect Dark. Maybe he's the closest. You know what I'm saying? That's about it. So, game it's like if you compare Ratchet and Clank to The Last of Us, it's almost the same. I mean, Ratchet and Clank in its own right looks beautiful, but obviously graphically, so is Game the Giant choice. State of Decay, I can't explain why. I don't know why. I mean, hopefully, from what I hear, State of Decay 3, they're gonna go balls to the walls. You know what I'm saying? Because Under Labs is now officially, right? Is a first party now officially. So so the money's there. I mean, it's just game design choice and all that stuff, I mean, that's really what it is. It depends what you put in and what you're trying to push out and stuff, Sony from the get-go, they want God of War to look graphically fucking beast. That was the concept behind it day one. They want it to be a graphical showcase. You know what I'm saying? So you have to have the intent from the start. I think as long as now, look at Gears of War 5. That shit looks graphically great. Yeah, but Gears of War has always been like that from the start. From the day it was born, that shit was a graphical showpiece. When Gears of War on 360 was first shown on stage, Emergence Day, that shit blew my mind. I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker, that shit was fucking crazy, bro. Fucking Cliffy B coming out there with his chainsaw, his 5'2" ass. Yeah. Fucking, you know what I'm saying? Motherfucker looked bigger than that. Motherfucker was like a rock star, bro. That motherfucker was champagne and having a Swedish bikini team. I never seen a video game developer like that. I mean, this motherfucker was literally on the Jimmy Fallon, whatever fucking light show. I'm like, oh shit, this motherfucker's on late night TV. Fucking drinking fucking Carvassier and all that shit. Motherfucker hanging out with fucking 50 Cent. This motherfucker was a rock star. You know what I'm saying? Like, shit,
this is what I'm saying. And again, that right there, right? And what it is what it is. And now you got this Microsoft now Like, I don't know what the fuck, bro. Like, it's fucking disgusting, right? But that's when you have them out there, or whatever the case, being the behemoth. You know what I mean? Them
Yeah.
no gamer left behind and all that shit. You know what I mean? And recycling and clean air fund. That's not, come on, man. You know what I mean? They ain't gonna fucking do it, Sway. You know what I mean? And they do have 5 new studios. Kudos, I get it. You know, I hope, but again, they need to come out there. And listen, for Sony guys, you want like, they don't. This is one thing I don't get about sometimes Sony guys. You should want Microsoft to come out there and kick ass and push cause still sharpen still. You know what I mean? You should want them to come out that motherfucking go balls to the wall, because that's gonna put the pressure on Sony to step their goddamn game up. I mean, I've always said a good game is a good game. I don't give a fuck whatever the platform is. I don't get it. Ain't that serious to me. I'm always gonna play it on everything. I wish Nintendo would get with the book to get on board. You know what I mean? But I just miss that. And again, shout out to Rand. Rand said, that's, I don't know, maybe not their goal anymore. You know what I mean?
It's not Z. They've kind of moved on from that.
Yeah. I mean, I even noticed on the E3 stage. Let's look at E3, right? Post E3, what did they say about Gears? The first thing, what they're talking about was built from the ground up on PC.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, bro, like, what about the X? Or can you talk about, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I wasn't all that big interested, but like, I think Microsoft, what they're trying to do is create an environment where they're how would you say, all their eggs is not in one basket, and that basket being the console. You understand what I'm saying? So if the console doesn't sell too well, that's okay, because they're still making revenue because they spread loaded their software across multiple spectrums, and that's why they also invested in services. They make money off of Sony because of PlayFab and Simply Gone. They make money off of Sony. Sony uses the hell out of that shit for their games. So Microsoft say, hey, we're gonna make money here, we're gonna make money there. So at the end of the day, the bottom line, when Phil reports to Satya, we made revenue. It's no longer about this console dominating or being competitive to make money. They took that out of the equation. They're still going to make the console, and whoever buys it, whoever don't. But how can they have consistent revenue across the thing? The thing that sucks for us, you know what I'm saying, when we have our podcast and we talk about gaming, the conversation of Fable 2 compared to Horizon Zero Dawn, this game versus that game, you know what I'm saying, is going to be less and less frequent, because it's going to be hard to have those conversations and seriously take those conversations when Microsoft is completely, you know what I'm saying? So pretty much on our end, as the old guard, which is what I think we call ourselves, those conversations are going to be less and less. You understand what I'm saying? Because Microsoft is not creating that environment where it's them versus Sony. They're taking themselves out. They're completely out. If Sony fucking runs away next time with...
Remember what you said before. Remember what Phil said, I think it was about a few years ago, when they asked, Microsoft asked Phil, was Sony their biggest competition? They said no, their biggest competition is Apple. So they've already made that shift away from, looking at Sony as a viable competitor. And like Z said, you could tell that they've already stopped competing, that they've already moved on to something else. Now, I will say this, for the console guys, I feel bad for you, because you guys are the old guard. You guys represent how people used to play, that couch and TV gamer. But when you see that, 80s, almost, 65% of people who play games, just any kind of game in general, they actually play it while moving, while in motion.
Yeah.
Because the majority of games are on cell phones now. So the console is one thing. That's why the Switch got up to a huge leap, because it reminded people that they could take their games with them. So, I get it. Consoles, for the most part, are indeed dead. I mean, you're going to have Microsoft come out with a console to satisfy those console gamers. But as the generations change, and I don't mean hardware generation, I'm talking about people, with their kids, to adulthood, nobody's going to be sitting in front of their TV or in front of a PC playing video games. People are going to have, augmented reality headsets on their head, and they're going to be walking through the public, playing their video games, answering the phones, chatting with their buddies, saying hi to grandma, all at the same time. And the only people who are probably going to be playing consoles are going to be old guys sitting in their rocking chairs with an old dusty controller in their hand. Nobody's going to do that anymore.
I'm gonna disagree
let me
with
pay the
that.
bills right quick. Shout out to my brother Harry Galeen. He said PlayStation first-party studios are 12 decades ahead of Microsoft. Is it reasonable to expect that PS has more experienced developers while Microsoft first-party studios are about to reach their first generation ship? I would say absolutely. Absolutely. No, maybe a couple years ago, I'd argue you the fuck down. Absolutely. What has Microsoft developed? Homegrown. Outside of Forza.
Halo Wars 2.
Well, I mean, the majority of Microsoft studios, the majority of Microsoft studios were during the original Xbox One. I mean, the OG Xbox, where Microsoft Studios was actually doing pretty good. But as time went on, they kind of stepped away from that. They kind of stepped away from developing, and it's more or less, hey, that guy is actually better than us. Why don't we just pay that guy who is already, established to just simply make a game for us? The problem with that is, like, SEK said, or whatever his name is, Harry, he says that Microsoft's first party studios are making a generational change because their studios don't last past 2 generations.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at Halo, Gears, and Forza, those are the only 3 studios, or 4 studios if you count Horizon's developer playground. Those guys were already established. If you look at 343, they actually pulled top people from Bungie.
Yeah. So
You know what I mean?
So they do have some experience. Like same thing with Coalition. They got some guys from Epic.
Everywhere.
So yeah, but I think Turn 10 legitimately is the only studio that was built from the ground up, and all its members transitioned from gen to gen, because Turn 10 was OG Xbox studio. That's where they started. So technically, that's probably the most experienced studio that Microsoft has. In terms
It's
of
the only one, really.
Yeah, the only one, because they were there from the start. You know what I'm saying? They're the only ones that didn't transition or left, and you cut pieces. No, that studio, other than replacing a person here or there, for the most part, that's the one studio that was intact from the OG Xbox to the 360 to now and to the next gen. So technically, for Turn 10 is probably the most senior studio.
Yes, it is.
That Microsoft has, other than Rare, because they acquired Rare around the same time. So really, Rare and Turn 10 are the 2 most senior studios in Microsoft's arsenal.
But Rare, right? To be fair, we got to call a spade, right?
It's not the same people.
Whatever the fuck the case may be. I'm talking about, and again, I got cursed out for this again. And listen, put my personal bias aside. I'm a Fable guy. I love Fable, right? And you cut one of the 2. I mean, they got rid of Lionhead Studios, got Rare. And I understand that Rare made them a lot of money with the Connect shit, Connect Sports, Connect Avatars, da. But if you're looking back at their catalog and what they gave Microsoft, IP wise, what? I mean, would you put Sea of Thieves above Fable? Hell no. Grabbed by the Ghoulies? Hell no. What was that guy? What's the other guy named? Cameo? No, Cameo. What the fuck that shit was that came up? Like, what has been their signature franchise? Now, whether
they don't have one.
We all can see that what do you call it? Sea of Thieves when the answer's way. Like I've always fucking said, you know what I mean? That's why.
Now it's funny you say that though, Z. That Sea of Thieves wasn't the answer, but I mean, like 3 million people said it was. So I mean, like I don't play the game myself, and I'm just as shocked as you are to see that many people still playing that game. But oh yeah, another game was Perfect Dark Zero. That was actually a really good shooter.
For 360?
Yeah, 360. Well, we're talking about what has they done since Microsoft brought them in.
That was the launch title, and Cameo was the launch title.
I would say this: if you could share my screen, I remember seeing this concept art for Cameo 2. If y'all could see it.
Yeah,
This is from Rare. This is what they wanted to.
That doesn't look bad.
Yeah, this is what, and this is for 360. This is what they wanted to do to take Cameo to the next level, but they shut that down because they put Rare focusing on Connect shit. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes it may not be the studio themselves. You know, back in those days, Microsoft, you did what the hell Microsoft wants you to do, or you could get the fuck out. That was their attitude. You do what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, am I lying?
That's
Look what Bungie wanted to do. They wanted to do Destiny. And we, at the time, we didn't know. But ultimately, that's what they wanted to bring. Imagine if Destiny was an Xbox exclusive.
Man, Porter Rock,
that-
you stirring up mess now. We already
I'm
took
not.
an
But
L on that.
yeah, but imagine that. Imagine if Destiny was an Xbox exclusive. That's their killer app of the gen. That shit would have been huge for Xbox. Destiny will be what everybody's talking about, you know? But sometimes, you know, and I'm talking about the old regime. I'm not talking about Phil now. You know, Phil obviously is more open to hopefully letting his developers be more creative and do what you want. But these decisions impacted Xbox today. Look what Rare wanted to do, but look what they were forced to do. You understand what I'm saying? So who knows? If they would have let Rare have the creative freedom, you probably would have had this sequel looking like this. This would have been graphical, realistic, you know, graphics that Z is looking for. You understand what I'm saying?
Well,
That's just I just want to
I
bring that up.
agree.
a good game. I mean, it's been the last 2 years. I'm gonna say it again. Oh shit, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you know, I look at this motherfuckers, the treason, and sit up and stand up for this shit here. They're out there committing treason. There was some fucking collusion going on here. What the fuck going on, man? You know what I mean? Like, come on, we got to be honest here. Like, this shit is dog shit, man. You know, but at the end of the day, man, you know, I can talk about this shit till I'm blue in the face.
Yeah.
They say Phil gets it. I don't know, man. Fuck going on.
We're gonna see just how it is. I mean, I think at the end of the day, I see a lot of people when I see people on Twitter hype up Xbox. I'm not talking about the fanboys. They mention a lot of the features of what Xbox has. In fact, games is rarely on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'd be like, "Oh man, I love my Xbox. I love the enhancements. I love Dolby Atmos. I can watch UHD player." And I'm like, "Man, okay. So when you're gonna say?" And if you know the games, I mean, multiplats. We all play multiplats. So if you're happy playing the best version of multiplats on a budget, you know, within a given time frame, because you know Xbox X does a great job of providing great looking games at a budget price, at a $500 price, where you don't have to spend $900 on a PC or deal with the stuff you got to do with PC. That's perfectly fine. I know I troll and talk shit and all that shit because that's just me, just to antagonize people. But in reality, I completely understand a person just wants to have a great looking gaming experience at a decent price, you know. And Xbox One X does that, you know. It does that completely. So I get that. And I think a lot of those gamers who own the X, that's what they want. They want a console with lots of features, great price, and plays their multiplats. And the next Xbox is going to do that. You know, I don't think they care if their exclusive is being played anywhere else or if it's the graphically best exclusive versus a Sony product. I don't think they care about comparing it to a Sony product. It's what they want from X. They only care about X. They only focus on X. They don't care about all that other shit. Me and you, we're in the bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? We're fuckboy supremes working on our masters right now. You understand? So of course we're gonna antagonize and talk shit on fucking YouTube channel. But I think in reality, most experts, like you know, the Xbots or whoever, they just want what Microsoft does for them. They don't care if Xbox does better than PS5. As long as Xbox gives them what they want, it's all irrelevant. You know what I'm saying? Me and you know, we slaving over these consoles. That's a whole
Isn't
different.
that what make it a selfish hobby?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Hold up. The Gamer M said, "Rock, you're in the DE. I'm in the UK. Please let them know Xbox has no mind share outside of North America. I don't think
I'm gonna be honest. He's right. I'm in Germany. This is the largest in terms of country in the European Union. Germany is the largest economy out of all the countries.
Okay.
I go to their version of Best Buy. I don't even see shit on Xbox. I'm like, yo,
okay.
there's nothing. Now. I see Nintendo and I see PlayStation.
Okay.
You,
how?
Fuck.
Okay. How do Mike? In your honest opinion, how do they? You know, I understand that North America is the biggest market, right? Yeah. As far as economy wise, they buy more of everything. I get that, right? But how do Microsoft go about changing that? In your honest opinion,
I think they realize they can't, and which is why they're doing a strategy because the platforms they play out here. Number one is PC. They're PC gamers like a motherfucker, you know, PlayStation and Nintendo. That's what they play out here for the most part, right? So, Microsoft, if you look at Microsoft, you could do one of try to two things. You could try to keep putting money like you do in Iraq, and hopefully it'll come out with a better outcome, or you could take advantage of the hardware that's already out there, that's already in the hands of these gamers, and then just put the software and services in hardware that's already there, you know? So you could try to fight the fight and spend millions on advertising and whatever, and hope you could turn it around, or you could just say, fuck it. If that's what Europe wants to play on, they're on PC, it's a Microsoft OS, fuck it. I think it's probably easier just to create the store and put the games on there. And then let them buy our games on that platform. Since they're not going to buy an Xbox, fuck it. Since you don't want an Xbox, are you at least willing to buy Gears of War 5 on the PC you already own? You understand? And as long as they make the store appealing, these guys will say, yeah, we'll play Gears of War 5. We're just not going to buy Xbox Scarlet to do it. And I think that's why Microsoft finally sees, fuck it. We're not going to force this console on your throat to play this game. You already own the hardware. We're going to make it easier for you to get access to this game. So that way we make money off of the software and services off you. And I think that's what Microsoft realized. I think Microsoft realized, because remember, this is 3 generations. Microsoft's no longer a kid.
Yeah.
They're full-blown, they're a full-blown expert. They're veterans. They're console veterans. They already had 3 platforms. They're working on their 4th generation. These guys are gaming veterans. You understand what I'm saying? By the 3rd strike, they can't penetrate a market after 3 generation attempts. I think you have to change your strategy. And I think that's what they're doing. They're like, fuck it. We're not going to do it a 4th time and most likely still fail at market share with a console. So fuck it. You guys got PCs. That's what you all primarily play on China, Japan, Thailand, Malaysia, Germany, France. Cool. You already have the hardware. We're going to find a way to get these games and services on the hardware you already own.
He said basically you can't change the mind share Gamer M. That's why they're begging for crossplay.
I think that's a separate topic. You know what I'm saying? I think.
I mean, here's the
I think
like I said,
topic.
which is I got some other topics I want to talk about. Yeah, I'm all aboard crossplay. I'm all for it. I would love to. I mean, the more players, just for the camaraderie. Listen, I can step outside the bubble because I guarantee you, let's be honest with you, if Sony was still asking for it and Microsoft was saying no, the Sony guys be making fun of Microsoft, right? It is what it is, right? We know, Puerto Rico, you know how this shit goes. You know how the fucking cookie crumbles, right? I'm all about period moving gaming forward. I mean, I would love to beat the shit out of Dr. Trey and Tekken on my Xbox, on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
And he got that shit on the Switch. You know what I mean? It's just for the pop shit in the chat, boot up. Let's make it happen. You know what I mean? I'm all for that. You know what I mean? I see that Sony just locked out a gamer's Fortnite account. He had a 3 meme. What the fuck's going on here, man? Somebody just sent me the article about that shit there. You know what I mean? But again, we talked about this crossplay. I guess anything that makes their company or whoever, not saying you, I'm shutting you my man, depicts their company in a non-favorable light is not a big. This way that the console will.
I would say in reality with crossplay, if Sony, I think they should do it. I think it's great. Like me, you know, I don't have an issue with this whole crossplay. I'm not anti-crossplay. I'm not gonna go out there and ask Sony, you better not do crossplay with fucking Xbox. Fuck them. I'm not doing all that. I don't care. Yeah. If they do it, they do it. If I was invested in crossplay, I will go after the games that I know I played, I wanted, like Madden. You know what I'm saying? I would love to play Madden against, you know, the Emperor and see what his skills about. I would love to play Tekken against K-Mega because he brags about Tekken. I would love to play against him. But I'm not buying the game again and then subscribe to Xbox Live to do it. You know what I'm saying? Especially Tekken. That game is dog shit. So I'm not buying it twice. I already own it. I have no problem playing anyone on any other platform. Like Street Fighter. Street Fighter's crossplay with PC. Yeah. I have no issues playing with PC gamers. So I have no issues. It would be cool. Again, my only reason why I'm not going hard, because I'm not convinced the big companies are going to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like EA, Activision, and whatever. Because if I wanted to go out and do this whole crossplay and advocate for it, I want it for Madden. I want it for Call of Duty. I want it for Battlefield. Yeah. I want it for those games because that's the games I actually play. I don't play Fortnite. So I don't even have the game installed. I don't care about that. For those who do have it, at Sony, go at them, harass them, you know, do what you got to do to make them change their mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to fucking whatever. But if I want the crossplay, really the games I want to see is 2K. I want to see Madden. I want to see Call of Duty. I definitely want to see Destiny. I would love to have crossplay with Destiny 2 so I could play with the people I know on Xbox. But I don't see those motherfuckers doing it. And I certainly don't see people going at those companies doing it. You know what I'm saying? I would be out there by myself challenging EA, Activision, Ubisoft while everybody else stays quiet. So that's why I'm like, whatever the fuck. You know what I'm saying? That's just for me. You know what I'm saying? I would love to play Tekken versus all the Xbox dudes. You know what I'm saying? I would love to play Madden against Baron, K Mega, all you motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I think crossplay is a great thing. I'm just not gonna go out of my way and fucking advocate for something because the games I do want to see crossplay in, I don't see it happening, or at least anytime soon, because no one's talking about it. You know, I could go out there and start the conversation. Most people's gonna ignore it. You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I think the conversation has started. I mean, because
Not with EA or
Well,
Activision.
no,
No one's saying anything. To
Yeah, I'm just saying, but you talk about the Tekken developers, and you love it. I mean,
so
just that was like before Fortnite shit. I mean, they do have the biggest goddamn game in the world, which is Fortnite spearheading at the forefront right now.
yeah.
That and the other. And then listen, you ain't right. I think when it comes to this for the Rock, I don't give a fuck about no Fortnite either. We are the minority, and I was just reading. Shout out to Obi-Wan Plays too. He was saying that his kids, they love, a lot of kids love Fortnite. Back now, they just want to play because he can play with his friend on the Xbox with his Switch. He just want to play on the PlayStation. Like, this shit crazy. It may be, he said this definitely may be bigger than Nino Brown. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't know. You know what I mean?
I'll say this: if Activision, if whoever, public relations, or even the CEO, right, of Activision comes out and makes a statement and says, "Hey, we want crossplay on Call of Duty and Destiny across Xbox and PlayStation and PC," that right there would change the game. Because now you're talking about the heavyweight. Now you're talking about the game that's going to be the number one seller in November. You know what I'm saying? December, Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying? Now you're talking about the big guns. If Activision came out and be like, "Hey, we want these games to be crossplay," that right there now changes everything. You know what I'm saying? That that's like a huge shift now. Now you're not talking about a free to play where everybody could bash. You're talking some of the biggest games that are played and sell like a motherfucker every fucking year. You know, if Activision did that, I think that will definitely put huge heat on Sony. You know what I'm saying? Because now you're talking about Call of Duty now. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of how we feel about Call of Duty, that game sells blockbuster every fucking year.
Yes, it does.
It sells every year. That's the one game people talk shit about the most.
And buy it.
But that motherfucker stays selling. That shit don't fail. Activision comes out and says, "Hey, Call of Duty, Destiny 2, we want crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation." Sony needs to make it happen. That changes the game now. That now you can't. That's like, oh shit. Fuck,
hey, yo,
DEFCON 5.
Hold up. I might have saved some faith. Like the Switch out there slowing down, good brother. It's like shit out there slowing down for him out there, big fella. See the you know what I mean. And I'm gonna say this thing saying I know we talked about this during the multiplayer, but one of these shows, I was that I always said it would be a problem when developers got to go out and shoehorn games and make games for your hardware. Like they're not getting the new WWE. I don't know about 2K, but I know they're not getting the wrestling. Probably don't get 2K basketball either. You know what I mean?
How about FIFA? I thought FIFA was canceled. I'm not sure.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
FIFA 19 is that still coming to Switch, or I think it stays stopped?
You know what I mean? And you got the biggest game again. You got the biggest blockbusters of the holiday season. Red Dead, Duty, the Destiny expansion. You're not getting any of those things there on this $300 goddamn device.
Yeah.
So it's got the Mario, and which again works for Nintendo. I'm not knocking it. I mean, it works for them. I mean, but I just and they just and then you have the new boss they just hired saying that they're not ruling out the successor to the 3DS. You know what I mean? So it's like it's where I'm going with this here. Like, what the fuck is going on?
I would say that because of Switch having third-party support not as good as Xbox and PlayStation, right? It's highly important that they consistently push out their exclusive content every single year. It's more detrimental because if you have a soft year in exclusives, it's really going to look bad. And I think that's what happened this year. Because this year, people were expecting to play Metro Prime 4. Obviously, you got your Super Smash Brothers, you got your Pokemon, but some people were expecting Metro Prime 4 and Bayonetta this year, which would have been an okay year. It would have been another good year because you have 4 major exclusives, and then you have the in between, the Octopath, a couple of Wii U ports. Overall, okay, good. But the fact that Metro Prime 4 and there's no Bayonetta 3, that shit was huge. That's like, wait a minute. So you're telling us it's Smash Brothers and Pokemon, which is not even a full-fledged Pokemon, at the end of the year, and then and for the next 10 months, it's just Octopath and Captain Toad? Like, what are we doing here? Now the third-party shit is coming into play. Now people are realizing, man, we need the GTAs, we need the Battlefields, because you know what I'm saying? I say this, Nintendo's, and this is just my opinion, Nintendo's biggest fault is they never consider third-party, man. They do what the fuck they want, and then once they create the hardware, hey, everybody, if you can make, you know what I'm saying? Then they unleash it for the world to see. Instead of saying, instead of looking at EA, Ubisoft, and kind of like, politicking and kind of looking at what they're trying to do, and they at least try to make sure that their hardware could keep up with their processes. Because like you said, EA, Ubisoft, they're not interested in making a specific custom engine for one product when they already have an engine that's multi-useful across various platforms. That kind of, because you got to look at their business too. They're trying to save money and maximize and be efficient too. You know what I'm saying?
But wasn't it Nintendo that said that, what is the Hiawatha? Wasn't he the one that said that Nintendo doesn't do well in competing?
No,
I mean, this is definitely obvious,
they did say that. You are right, but you have to ask us, so it's like this. If you feel you're not doing well competing, you have to ask yourself, why? Why can't we compete? Is it us or is it the consumer? Is it one of those, no matter what we do, people don't like us? Is that, you know what I'm saying? But when you look
it's
back,
both.
you know what I'm saying?
It's both. It's the consumer and them, because you got to understand, they make a very specific type of game system for a very specific type of people.
Yeah.
And we know what type of people that they are. Z calls them Nintendo weirdos.
Yeah.
And for the most part, just like I told Z earlier, people are growing up and they're changing their habits as far as how they game, but they're also changing their habits as to what appeals to them more. These, soft colors and Stretch Armstrong type games, the kiddie games.
That's asinine. Arms is the best fighter of the generation.
It's asinine.
Hold up. Von Lamont said Sony should try to buy the NFL rights and get MLB show team to make an exclusive football game. I think the Nintendo Switch should be $150 top. Listen, Von Lamont, shout out to you, good brother, my brother. A friend of the show. Look, it's all right. I said, I think we again, I got, with the whole Joe Montana thing, got teased. Fuck that div. They still hump me behind that, about that Joe Montana exclusive Xbox One game, right? For those for the record, I didn't make the rumor up. The developer sent me that shit. The dev.
Joe Montana?
Yeah. The Joe Montana stuff. He told me about all this loopholes and all this shit that technically be made and all this stuff.
And
it would be, and again, I don't know what it would cost Microsoft, but again, something like that, and maybe we can switch the conversation right here. But you're absolutely right. This generation, and again, just not to go back because we already talking about new hardware again, but this generation again is winding down, right? Because again, I understand we got the Pro, we got the X, but those are mid-gen refreshes. Get it? I do. They, what's what it was. To run what you already have prettier, right? I got it, right? Generation started in 2013, so normally, like I said, 2019 new hardware came out. I don't have an issue with it, right? And I asked Rand this, and I forgot to ask someone else. Can Microsoft close out the generation without giving us something besides Gears, Forza, and
No.
And I said this, I don't know if the rumors for the Sunset Overdrive leaks are true. They need something. I don't know if they got to go out there, bitch, and like I said, buy a Fight Night. That'll be. I don't know whether they charge age. They bought Titanfall for. You know what I mean? They need to do something to flex their muscle, man. You know what I mean?
But you said it multiple times yourself. They made $2.6 billion in a quarter. So in reality, I remember, I think it was episode 2 of Digital Streets. You said that Phil is doing exactly what Microsoft wants to do. Released minimal products, but make the most. Isn't that really the goal of every business, to try to be more efficient and make more money by doing less? You know what I'm saying?
That's correct.
The less money you put in and the more money you make, that's really the ultimate goal of PlayStation. And obviously, you have to find that balance, because you don't want to be too cheap and then your customers leave. But if you can find that balance, like for example, if majority of the customers are cool with State of Decay, Sea of Thieves level games for the most part, and then once in a while Halo and Gears, if that brings in maximum revenue, then that's what they're gonna stick with. They're not gonna ramp up game production and make everything Gears of 5 level if the revenue doesn't improve. You understand what I'm saying? So ultimately, Phil's doing exactly what he needs to do. I found a good, moderate, happy, medium place, and we're making $2.6 billion, $3 billion a quarter, maybe even more once they fully flesh out this whole tablet and phone implementation. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's really what every business wants to do. You want to try to hire the minimum amount of employees to get the most amount of profit. You know what I'm saying? If you can make $1 billion with 100 employees, why would you hire an extra 100 if you're already making huge amount of money with the employees that you have? Hell, sometimes you might be like, can I drop it down to 90 employees and still run the company and still make this money?
Okay.
That's just the reality of business. It sucks, but that's the reality.
Okay.
They try to find that efficiency line of efficiency and revenue and where they could maximize their stuff.
Here's the thing, and you're right, but I look at it like from the opposite of the street. If you want people to invest more, to get the games to because they lost, like Nintendo lost a lot of their fan base to Sony and Microsoft. Yeah. Microsoft lost a lot of gamers to Sony. That turned their back, didn't come back home. So to get the I don't know if you get 5 million of those guys back, that's getting more software. You know what I mean? That's that's the way that I look at it. You know what I mean? And you're right. I made $2.5 billion on giving you motherfuckers this diabetic diet. Yeah. Maybe, you know what I mean? It's crazy, man.
I mean, it's a good point. I'm saying. I mean, at the end of the day, Microsoft only they know. Do they put in the money, the revenue? I mean, the money, the power, everything to try to get back to 80 million, 100 million selling consoles and make $2.6 billion a quarter? Or they just keep doing what they're doing and still make that $2.6 billion a quarter? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it is. Does the extra effort into trying to be the most competitive console going to result in the reciprocal revenue? Like, for example, somebody in the chat just said, Microsoft has the money to buy the NFL rights. Why don't they? That is a true statement. They do have the money to buy the NFL rights and make an exclusive game. But
that's because EA already has it.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. But let's pretend EA didn't have it, and Microsoft
but there's a loophole. Like with the baseball MLB this show, like Sony has. There's some.
EA locked it. Now, like Sony, their contract with MLB is they're the only first party publisher to make an exclusive game, but third party can make it still. Yeah. That's why you saw 2K. They try to make MLB, but it's just garbage, right? But what I'm saying is this, and I'm just talking about hypothetical. Let's say Microsoft can go out there and outbid EA and take over the NFL rights. Now it's exclusive to Microsoft platforms. The question is, are they going to get back the return on investment? The reason why it's successful for EA, because Madden's on everything. It's on everything. It's on PlayStation. It's on, except for that dog shit Switch, it's pretty much on everything. That's how they get their return on investment. Yeah. Can Microsoft do the same with just Xbox and PC and not have PlayStation? You know what I'm saying? Especially when a lot of people buy Madden on PlayStation as well and all the DLC. That's why I don't think Microsoft's going to do it. Yeah, they have the money, but that doesn't mean they're going to get back anything in return. Unless Microsoft still makes the game for PlayStation, which then defeats the purpose of going for the licensing. You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily, Porter, because you got to but you got to understand. But you got to understand that. Remember, Microsoft went around buying game engine assets. They didn't lock those assets down to just Microsoft. They still allowed Sony, Nintendo, and whoever else. They still allowed them to use it, and that's how they got that $2.6 billion. So even if they did go and buy the rights, it would simply be to free it up and make it open again.
Yeah.
Microsoft has found a formula where hoarding technology that won't make you as much money as if you just allow everybody to use it and all the money comes to them, including Sony's money.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
I know. I completely agree. I think it was just in the context of the chat, because I think his intent was Microsoft buy the NFL so you can have exclusive rights on Xbox and whatever. And but like you and I, Microsoft won't do that. they're gonna open the door to that and have even PlayStation have Madden because, like you said, that's more money than keeping it exclusive to Xbox and Microsoft platforms like Minecraft. They're not gonna keep Minecraft exclusive.
Shout out to Lionel Budgeon. Lionel, he said, it's a good thing. He said Nintendo doesn't have an issue with competing. They were doing just fine before the PlayStation 1. The truth is, everyone in the console space has a problem competing with Sony, especially when they are at their peak.
At a certain point, and I think any platform, at a certain point, you have to ask yourself, how much money and time are you willing to invest to beat somebody when you have another way
of making
money and pull yourself out? You know what I'm saying? It's like red ocean, blue ocean strategy. Blue ocean is fucking, if I remember correctly, red ocean, I forgot. It's fucking the two terms. One strategy is to compete on a market that has competitors. The other strategy is to create your own market and compete with no one and be successful with that. And I think that's what Microsoft and Nintendo is doing. They're like, why do we have to compete with each other? We'll just carve out our own market and be successful in that window space. So Sony, fuck it. You want to go to traditional route? Congratulations. You're the king of traditional consoles. Enjoy your money. Enjoy what you want to do. Microsoft's like, hey, we're doing our own thing. Fuck this traditional role. We're going to have our things across all platforms. We're going to make our money. Nintendo's like, man, fuck this traditional console shit. We got this mobile hybrid platform. People play on the go. They do this. Everybody's in their own niche. Everybody's making money. The only people that's pissed off is me and you because we trying to fucking do the fuckery on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You know, we trying to get our fuck on. You know, we're doing fuckboy supreme shit on YouTube and Twitter and get people to fucking start a war up in this motherfucker. That's what we trying to do. And that shit, and what these motherfuckers they do, you know, it's bad for business. You know, we need this YouTube money. You know, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony are fucking with our YouTube money.
Hey, shit, Microsoft.
Puerto Rock is real God of War.
Hey, yo,
is real God of War.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, you see me, people be like, Puerto Rock, why are you doing this? Because I tell them I want to see this shit burn.
Hey, yo,
fuck that.
On some real life Tywin Lannister behind the scenes.
Yo, this kumbaya shit is not bringing me views. I need fuckery up this motherfucker, man. Nintendo, Microsoft, they're fucking everything up here. You know what I'm saying?
You burned out, bro.
You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers, you know, it would be like, fucking.
Hey, but he's honest though.
You know what I'm saying? Like if I was like a police officer in gang control, I don't want Bloods and Crips to make peace because I'll be out of a fucking job. How the fuck am I gonna get promoted if nobody's getting shot? Nah, motherfuckers, I'm gonna start some shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be like Denzel Washington and fucking, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna finesse some shit. I need crime to go up to make myself relevant. Fuck we doing here?
Hey, yo, you know what, yo? Hey, yo, damn, you don't let the cat out the goddamn bag, man.
You know what I'm saying? We have that and breathe, bro. We're gonna have to start making a prayer channel.
Hey, yo, the crack
talk
is
like
lacking. Xbox for XJW. I done said some crazy shit in the last few months, bro. Harry Hilling says Sony could do a more risky leap into next generation and even sell the PlayStation 5 for $499 to $599, while Microsoft going to the next generation will be diabetic gaming behind them. $499 to $599 price tag for Xbox 2.
Hey, I had to dip, but I have to dip right now.
Okay, no problem.
All right, man. But thanks, thanks for shouting out. You know what I'm saying? Tune in, Digital Street Show. You know what I'm saying? The realest shit on Sunday.
Yeah.
Grand opening, grand closing. I'm out.
All right, hold on. Harry Halim said Sony could do a more risky leap into the next generation and even sell the PlayStation 5 for $499 to $599, while Microsoft going into next generation with this diabetic game behind them at $499 to $599 price tag. The Xbox 2 wouldn't fly at all. First of all, I want to say that both. I don't expect the Xbox. What do you call it? 2 or the PlayStation 5 to be under $500, especially when we're talking about at a minimum at least 8 T-flops in the console. I don't think either one of them will be under $500. As far as the diabetic gaming, you're absolutely right. But again, to be fair, a lot of people buy more multi-platform exclusives. Everyone here is watching this dog show or on the hardcore side of things. So we look at more at, like I said, exclusively what they have to offer. What Microsoft has for them, crapping those guys love that Forza. They love that Halo. I love Gears. You know what I mean? And as long as, again, they still get their Gears of Forza and Halo, and the little diabetes, they'll be fine with that. Listen, you see me show after show arguing, BGST, whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? I mean, he knocked down drag up fights I didn't got, with those guys, you know what I mean? Should even had my man Moore came up here and lost his mind, called you Sony guys schizophrenics. Shit be going crazy sometimes, bro. You know what I mean? I mean, I get it. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, to me, regardless of what I prefer, it's always about the games. You know what I mean? And to be fair, I'm not gonna lie. This is real shit, right? Sony really opened my eyes this generation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they really are the fucking, you know what I mean, the truth. Whether it's Microsoft stopped fucking competing, because, you know, I've had the PlayStation 3. I bought that shit day one last generation. $600. The controls didn't even fucking vibrate. You know what I mean? God of War 3, I was said before, was my favorite goddamn game of that generation, right? But what Sony's been able to do now, and maybe again, maybe Microsoft just not going out there and again, and not competing and just got beat the fuck up. So now we're gonna try again. You know what I mean? I don't know which one was, or just Sony again is just so goddamn dominant. I mean, so but again, this is real shit. A lot of questions will be answered for Microsoft going into next generation. You know what I mean, we all can speculate, we all can have our theories. You know what I mean? Is Sony just really just the fucking they can't get what they do and can nobody can make fuck with them? Or Microsoft, blow out, got injured this generation, blew out the Achilles heel at the start of the race. You know what I mean? So a lot will be answered, man. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? And that's again, even like this gonna say, where did I spend the majority of my money into whatever ecosystem? Because I ain't gonna lie, if the Xbox, the way it stays the course that it is now, with all this Kumbaya shit, you know what I mean? I'm gonna get the majority of my multi-plats on the PlayStation now. I just have the Xbox for the exclusive years, and I can get for, you know what I mean, or the 1 or 2 gems that come up. You know, I ain't doing no PC gaming. You know what I mean? Like what about you?
I mean, to a certain extent, I agree with you, Z. But in this case, Microsoft can do the Kumbaya shit, and they'll still make more money than Sony because remember, next generation, they're going to have their stuff everywhere. So even the guy who walked into Verizon and bought whatever new iPhone 11 or whatever, that's going to be a beast of a cell phone, and it's going to be strong enough to play some variation of the next generation games, but it doesn't matter who buys the game. All the money still goes to Microsoft. You know what I mean? And so that's and Phil had to switch to this particular narrative because they weren't winning on hardware. Satya Nadella was saying, hey, man, what the hell are we doing this for? Right? And so, they're moving to this more service style. They're going to still come out and bring out a new Xbox and the Xbox after that. They're going to still do that the same way they did with the Surface. They launched an entirely new genre of computer just by coming out with the Surface and doing it right. They're going to do the same thing with the Xbox to show, all these other guys, hey, man, this is what is possible. This is what it looks like when you build a micro PC or whatever, a stream box, and just stream Microsoft Store to your stream box. The games will look great. We have enough cloud power to give you that 4K 60. We have enough power for that. And our exclusives will now be open to anybody in the store. The reason why they consider it an exclusive is because Microsoft made it. And so it's Microsoft's game being played somewhere else, but it's still Microsoft's game.
Okay. I get all that. Trust me, I get the whole mantra, right? But being a gamer, at the end of the day, right? They're making all that money. How does that benefit me, you? Being a traditional
gamer. Because why? Because to make these beautiful looking games, that costs a tremendous amount of beautiful money. Okay. And without the money, you can't make the games. Like I said, Microsoft is a software company first.
Okay.
Right? Which is why they will always beat Sony on software. Always. It's the hardware that they're getting their butts handed out to them. And you had asked in another podcast, why the hell we keep getting controllers? Because Microsoft has to make up that deficit that they're losing to Sony. Right? Which is why on Xbox, the attach rate is like 5-1 versus Sony, the attach rate is only 3-1 because they have more consoles out there than they are selling different peripherals for their consoles. And even with the games, they're not really making that big of a profit on their games because their games look amazing, but that costs a shit ton of money to make that beautiful game.
All right.
but they didn't get the $10 million. They didn't get the 10 million game count. They didn't get, the 12 million. None of their games, with the exception of one, has reached double digits for the amount of money spent to make it.
Okay, here's the thing. Now, listen, Mo, you my man, right? But it always comes a part of the show where someone's integrity will be in question. It always comes a point of the show where we got to get the biggest day for the show. We got to cut the bullshit out, right? Microsoft again. We talking about their money, not give a fuck about their money, right? 2.5 billion, bro, shit, right? 2.5 billion on a diabetic diet. 2.5 billion. And what you say with their operating costs? And again, we look at it as a business. We're talking about the business and what they make and whatever. The fact that they didn't spend anything, and motherfuckers went out there and bought their shit up and made, whatever the fuck they bought, whatever, Voodoo Vince and Phantom Dust and all that shit, and made excuses for it, right? And given that we made 2.5 billion, right? This is a business, and in a business, because I made some savings, I mean, I'm not going to pass it on to the consumer. I'm gonna make as more, as money as I can, right? We're here, Sony again, double down on themselves. You know what I mean? And whether in a game like Spider-Man, you're right, it may not make as much as a game like Sea of Thieves. Not someone that sells as more, but I understand it. But it's great for gaming because people are gonna go out and buy that console, right?
But why?
Yeah, it's great for gaming.
Why is it great for kids? Because I hear you say that a lot.
Okay, I'm
but why? Like, why is it better for gaming if nobody goes and buy the game?
Well, you don't think Spider-Man's gonna sell about 10 million copies?
Spider-Man is not even gonna touch 5.
What? Liz, hold up. I want to read your comment right now. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, live on the air. Would you like to make a gentleman wages here, my fellow, my brother? Let's bet $10 that Spider-Man would sell past 6 million copies. $10 on live on the air.
Spider-Man is not gonna touch 5, bro. Like,
you want to bet $10? I mean, I ain't got much money. My man are very little means. $10, $5.
Okay, fine. I'll indulge you. All right. So $10. We can do.
You guys heard the bet here first. All right, $10. Okay.
How much? Now, say this. Are you giving Spider-Man like a month, or are you giving them a quarter? 3 months.
What 6 months? It'll do $5 million. That's cool, right?
6 months. Yeah. They'll do. And it's a Spider-Man game that plays like Batman.
Yeah, that's not. I mean.
Okay, I'll take that.
I bet.
I'll take that.
Okay. Guru Legend said the Xbox 2 would be nothing more than a more powerful Xbox One X with different parts. No generations, no man left behind. And I might be siding with Guru Legends on that one, right? If we're going to say again, right, no man left behind.
But you have, but Z, you have to expound on that. You got to unpack that. Why is that a bad idea? No generation. Why is that a bad idea?
Why? Because I want gaming to evolve.
But gaming is going to evolve.
I want bigger worlds. I want to be able to go into every building. I want game engines to give. I want more tessellations, more foliage on the screen. You know what I mean? Look at the difference between Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2. I'm not saying which one was better as far as gameplay-wise, but look at it visually. When they didn't have to worry about a fucking half a gig of RAM on a 360. You know what I mean? I'll give you another example. Right, you look at a game like Rise of the Tomb Raider. We can all agree that was a beautiful game, right? But as pretty as that goddamn game was, it still had to be made around the parameters of a half a fucking stick, a gig of fucking RAM for the 360. Imagine they only had
but that'll never happen again, though.
I'm just saying. Imagine they only had to worry about for next generation hardware, or even like say if the next generation consoles have 16 gigs of RAM, DDR 15 or whatever the fuck the case may be, right? Right. But they still had to make that same goddamn game to worry about 2013 hardware. That's a fucking nightmare.
But that is different, though. You're not making a fair comparison. The difference between the 360 and the Xbox One X, or the Xbox One for that matter, is the hardware architecture. There isn't going to be a difference as far as the architecture wise between the Xbox One X and Project Scarlet, because they're both going to be x86. So you're not going to have that issue. They're going to build the game on the Scarlet or the PC, whatever, and just simply scale it back because of DirectX 12. They're going to scale it back to fit on the Xbox One X. So that will never happen again. you will never see that disparaged. Or if you do, that'll actually be good, because then you just made the argument for those who just got the X and now they're like, oh shit, they're coming out with a Scarlet.
Okay.
Now that's the argument that Microsoft can make, if they make it,
Okay.
to say, hey, yes, we are still making games on the X, but look how good it looks on the Scarlet.
All right.
You see what I mean?
Ready for this?
Go ahead.
Now, this is Thomas. I'm about to slap you in the head with the bottle of bug.
You better make it good too. I don't want to be disappointed.
All right, ready for this? You sit down. I get the bandages, baby. I gotta do it, right? All right. All that will be well and good, right? What you're saying, right? But you know what the issue is again? What everyone's talking about as far as performance. The last time I checked, the X, the Xbox One, the OG fat one, the Xbox One S, and they have them dog shit Jaguar CPU, right? Even Phil said this up. These are Phil words, not mine. That one thing that the industry messed up with as far as this generation was the performance rate. We're talking about performance again, because you have something which you call, some engines are more CPU heavy and some graphic engines are more GPU heavy, right? And again, who's to say that they're not going to go from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5 for the next generation, or Frostbite Engine 4? So now you're pulling a motherfucking Nintendo here. Now you're hog-tying developers' hands behind their back, because again, you know what I mean, developers want to take the easy route, make from PC, they put over to the consoles, but you still have that very, very, you gotta realize when those consoles came out, Dragon Ball, they was already so fucking far behind the goddamn curve. You know what I mean? When the Xbox One and the PS4, that was like 2010, 2011 hardware. They were already so far behind. Now we're talking about in 2020, we still making games with 2010 hardware? Hell no! That's
Come
crazy.
on, Z. Once again, that is not a fair comparison.
Listen, how has it worked, right? Being fair with this, right? We're talking about $1 billion investment, or whatever they just spent on the R&D from both Sony, whatever they developing the PlayStation 5, Microsoft developing the next Xbox, right? The incentive for you want people to go out there and buy your new hardware, be honest with you, it's not a prettier version of the same goddamn game, because the X is not Microsoft number one seller and the Pro is not Sony number one seller. It's still the entry level goddamn slim PS4 and the Xbox One S. That's a fact. You know what I mean? So to get someone to buy your new $1 billion investment, the fact that you have it a little bit more shinier or whatever the fuck the case may be, it's not gonna make a difference. I'll give you an example. We didn't get those new influx of new consumers from the 360 and the PS3, so they stopped making goddamn Call of Duty for the PS3 and the 360. Yeah, you should look a little bit more shiny, but we're playing the same goddamn game. We're not talking about PC gamers. Console gamers are a little different. You're going to have the hardcore, the enthusiasts, but the casuals, fine, they get it, it works, it is what it is. But now we're talking about the same goddamn game. I get to play with you get to talk to me. There's no reason to buy a fucking Xbox One 2. As a consumer, I will be fucking pissed. If I went out there and bought a new $5 goddamn console, and I can still play this same goddamn game, it's like, come on, man. Like that, it's not gonna work. That's a fucking recipe for disaster.
But once again, Z, you're still talking, and I get it. I could tell you shell shocked from the 360 to the X. I could see you're still shell shocked. However, this is something totally different. You're talking about different architecture. Let me ask you this question: when the Xbox One X games came out, how many games did they have 60 frames per second?
When it came out?
Yes, the Xbox One X. Between 2013 and 2015, how many games ran at 60 frames per second?
Here's the thing. I don't have an exact number, but normally it's going to be your shooters, racers.
Well, let's just say percentage. Percentage-wise.
Shooters, racers, and sports. One-player action games are still 30 frames per second. The Assassin's Creed and all this shit, but all you're going to get is for 60, besides Destiny, are your shooters, racers, and sports. Fighters.
Okay, so when the X came out,
all right,
how were they able to get 60 frames per second out of those same old games that could only do 30?
No, they were 60 before the X came out.
No, they were not. They were 30.
Call of Duty is 60.
No, I'm not talking about. Okay, no. What I'm saying, what you said earlier. Wait a minute. What you said earlier was the adventure ones or the single player games
Are still
were only
30.
30. So let's talk about those.
And
Because we know the others were 60.
Okay, and still, and have a lot of them having issues hitting fucking 30. Look at PUBG.
Z, that's once again, that's not the argument. The argument is what? Well, the question. I'm sorry. The question that I asked was that the games that are 30 frames per second at the beginning of the generation, when you buy the X, they perform better, and especially in the frame rate department, especially in getting them 1080p. Because remember, those games were not 1080p at the beginning of the generation. Those games were 720p, 967p, and I didn't even know we had TVs that could play that, but whatever. But now we're getting 1080p, 1440, 60 frames. Like, we're getting these things now. How was that possible on that same old hardware? What happened?
Okay, here's the thing. All right, now listen. All right, what game that you're getting besides a higher resolution that wasn't 60 frames that's now 60? You name me one game.
Sure.
What one?
Well, I would say this: number one, Quantum Break.
Is 60 frames on the Xbox One X?
Is on the One X.
It's 60 frames on the Xbox One X?
Well, on my TV is 60 frames. I don't know. Maybe it's because I got a 240 hertz TV.
Hey, bro, actually, it runs at a higher resolution. It's not 60 frames. It runs at a higher resolution. That's all.
What resolution does it run at?
Almost somewhere between 4K and fucking 1440 or 2K, whatever.
So it's 1880.
Yeah, there you go.
I just wanted to know if you knew.
Okay, whatever the case may be, somewhere between 2K and 4K, and the rest or whatever. But those games, same game. Why? Because again, they still have them same for competitive issues. Why? I'm still the same, basically slightly faster Jaguar Core CPU. You talking about you know how old that Jaguar goddamn? This is Jaguar. You done had Puma. Now you got a rock. Come on, bro. That's like we bugging the fuck out now.
So now let me ask you this: since we're bugging out. What's up?
Ain't no 60 frames, man. They're still fucking.
No, it balances back and forth. Like I've tested it. It balances back and forth. I don't get a stay. I may get it like a stable 45 to 50, but it definitely moves at a higher frame rate than it did on my original One X. I mean, on my original One.
But what I'm saying.
But I'm saying like it's able to do that, but it can't. But you can't do that if it's still on the same old hardware. That's the overall of my argument.
I understand.
Something happened to where it changed.
Okay, I get that. All right, I'm not. I mean, slightly. Yes, and again, this is what the X is for. Made to run what you already have slightly better, right? But now,
so I'll give you that.
Okay, here's the thing. Now look. Now what you have again is what you call a new generation of hardware. It's going to be totally different. I mean, you know, I know maybe it's going to have Ryzen or whatever the fuck the case, and in the X or Navi, whatever the fuck they're going to put in these new consoles, right? Shit, they might they might give us some fucking Puma. You never know. This is a fucking business, right? They want to make as much money as they can, right? Until the following generation, right? But what if what if the graphic engines and they need more resources, right? Need more is allocated again. Regardless of the architecture, it can still be cool. Look, you look at fucking the Switch, totally different architecture from the Xbox and the fucking PlayStation 4, right? But they're able to get some of the games not as prettier, but it's a different fucking architecture, right? We can agree with that,
right?
Okay.
Right. I can agree with that.
Not as pretty, right? Like I said again, but you also have some engines that can't fucking run on the Switch because it's not beefier enough. Now, being honest with you, that is a recipe for disaster. Hear me out. And this is for somebody that, again, the hardcore that go out and buy these goddamn consoles day one, right? And for me, and I like everything new. If you're gonna tell me you want me to give you $600 just to look a little bit better or whatever fuck than what I already have, there's not gonna be no, and I can still play those same goddamn games. I might say I don't fucking need the. I might just keep my X. The same shit.
And that part I get you. I get you on that. But once again, that's the mindset that you had coming from the 360 to the Xbox One.
Hey, my man,
but you're talking about two totally different architecture. I know you got to read Lionel's.
Go ahead. Yeah. He said, "Yo, Z, who man's is this?" I don't even know, man. I listen. I don't know who man's is this right now, bro. Yeah, he's like, you know what I mean? Like, listen, what do you want? Like, this be close to. What do you want? Do you listen? Do you not want to feel special? Do you not want to have a? Yeah, I got the Xbox One to you. What you guys over there doing? Do you not want to feel special? Do you not want to sit down, pull a fuck nigga Supreme, boot up some whole new shit that somebody ain't playing? Hey, y'all niggas get your money right. Is that not what you want? Like, come on, man. Do you not want to be the epitome of gold chain gaming? Man, fuck what you think of that old ass hardware, bro. Step your game up, pull your aim up, bro.
See, Z, now I'm gonna start trolling. You know, I'm gonna start trolling. The thing is, man, like, especially with, you know, my man Lionel, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's right. Like, I was, you know, I'm just fucking around. I was trying to prove a point. You know what I'm saying? But it shit didn't work out. So I'm gonna try a different way. Okay. That's not gonna have, you don't have to worry about that anymore. Like I told you before, guys like you, Z, you guys are the old guard. You're out. You're out. The only person still listening to you guys is Sony. And even though Sony might have sold 80 million consoles, that doesn't change nothing when they get behind them boardrooms. Okay? And Kaz Hirai slaps Yoshida in his goddamn face. Talking about where's the goddamn yens? Because it didn't produce anything. Microsoft is saying, hey, we're going to just simply give you guys everything, let the chips fall where they may. No longer are we going to focus on this one little market that we keep getting our butts kicked in. While we're sitting here looking out and we see 2 billion people out there not being touched.
All right.
So at the end of the day, they're the hardcore gamer.
Okay.
You guys didn't do the job. Okay. You didn't do it.
Okay, listen.
You didn't get out there and you didn't support the games.
All right, here's the thing, right?
So now Microsoft is like, deuces, because I see these guys out here, I see what they're playing. Mm-hmm. And they're not playing hardcore games. They're playing a game on their freaking cell phone that they just spent like double the price of an Xbox One X on.
Okay.
I'm out.
All right, here's the thing, right? Real talk. Now, we're gonna look at it from both sides of the fence. You have Sony, right? Arguably probably having one of the most successful generations to date.
And it meant nothing.
Yeah. It meant a lot.
That's what I'm saying.
They bought their ass back from it. It meant a lot. Sony was selling
back from where?
They were selling builds at the start of the goddamn generation. They stock now. I was reading something that their stock is as high as it's ever been, right? In a very long time. Good for them. And I can give a fuck about Sony's money, right? But doing what?
No, you should care about Sony's money. Because remember, they were selling buildings at the beginning of the generation, and they gave you no games at the beginning of the generation.
Okay, fine.
You motherfuckers took them word on faith.
Okay, fine.
But Microsoft can't get that same love, though.
No, because they were never in the financial position as Sony. And again, they made $2.5 billion. Less marketing, no theme fucking console, no third-party exclusive content, and gave me nothing. They took my money and gave me nothing. They took me $3,000 from me and gave me shit. Voodoo Vince.
And Sony gave you everything, and you gave them nothing.
Voodoo Vince, Phantom Dust, original fucking assets. So why the fuck would, you're right, I spent far less money with Sony and got more certification out of this goddamn, you know what I mean? Just calling this goddamn
certification?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Gratification. Out of this goddamn box. And I spent over $3,000 on Xbox hardware. Begging these motherfuckers.
Learn his words now.
Be the behemoth that you are. You know what I mean?
Dude, they don't care about being a behemoth, bro.
And that's the
this
fucking
is what I'm trying
problem.
To
Let me tell you something. Look at it like this, right? I understand that they hate to the casuals outnumber me, maybe 5-1 or whatever. But I spend more money.
Try 25 to 1, sir.
I spend more money than any casual. Fact.
No, you don't. That's the thing.
A casual will buy what? Maybe Duty, Madden, 2K. That's it.
And then multiply it times 25.
Okay, but I'm gonna buy those same domain and every goddamn exclusive. I'm gonna buy the controllers. I'm gonna buy the fucking consoles. You know what I mean? So again, it's the hardcore that sets the trend for the fucking casual.
Not anymore, sir. That used to be the case in our day. When we were coming up, we looked to, like, it started with our big brother. May have had the console, and we looked, oh man, I want to play what he's playing. Or to our homeboy down the street who's rich, and his family bought him everything.
Hey, yo, listen, if you think everybody...
That's not the case anymore. Casuals don't care about...
If you think my man Dragon Moore should be drug tested and be a fucking... He should have walked the earth for the days of this earth as a supreme fuck nigga. Hit type 1 in the chat. Oh, you think my man Dragon Ball dropping that knowledge on me right now? Type 2. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, ain't nobody gonna type a 2 in here.
Yeah,
That'd be crazy.
If you think my man Dragon Ball is
I told you I was trolling.
Hey, type 2. If you think he on some real live other shit right here, the cracking is lacking. If you think my man right there, you know what I mean, waiting for that body to evolve. Yeah, man, shit, man. Like I said,
But Z, like, let's be honest, bro. When you sit here and you got Samsung selling more phones than Sony selling consoles,
okay.
And then you see the fact that their game, hold on a second. You see that their games are making billions of dollars over console games, which is supposed to give you like almost give you the entire world. You as a businessman, because you used to be a businessman, am I right? You used to have your own game store.
Okay.
So as a businessman, which one would you decide to do?
Here's man, because you gotta realize the cell phone market, a phone is a necessity, a console isn't. And the reason why, again, those cell phone games, you gotta realize this, make so much money because 99.9% of them are free to play. And that's how they get you, okay? So it's not even the same, the business you. Fortnite is why
they
so
still
huge.
make money.
It's cool, fine.
They made billions of dollars. Billions of dollars went into their pocket.
I'm not negating that, but okay. But until Madden is free to play, or whatever, I mean, it's not even the same, but fine. It is what it is, right? Everyone has a cell phone. Not everyone has a console. So even trying to compare because a game that a mobile game that's successful on the cell phone doesn't mean it's going to be successful on the console. Guru Legends is this dude high. Sony dropped photorealistic exclusive and VR. Ask him where's the Xbox VR. When will Microsoft get on Sony's level on consoles and care about gaming? You know what I mean? And
when gamers start caring about Microsoft.
Oh shit.
Microsoft, remember, you got Quantum Break. It's supposed to be like the best game Microsoft had, right? Now, how many people bought it? The fuck out of here, man. Like, stop it. Like, I'm my thing is this.
Mm-hmm.
Things were different because Microsoft was providing a service and people were taking advantage of said service. Now Microsoft is providing a service and ain't nobody buying them. But why? You got to ask yourself that W question.
You know why people ain't buying it?
No, I'm about to tell you. You ain't even got to tell me, dude. I was there. When you sit here and you got the gaming media, which has they're the ones who have the heart and minds of the gamer, not Sony. The gaming media just happens to be on Sony's side, right? Last generation, it was on Microsoft's side, okay? My thing is this. Quantum Break is an awesome-ass game that hardly anybody got to play. Why? Because the media said it was dog shit. Not because your average gamer said it was dog shit, because the media said it was dog shit. They tried to do the same thing to your beloved franchise, Gears of War, with the trick, with what the one that said, I can't, it's too much A button. This is the type of shit Microsoft had to deal with.
All right.
Right?
Okay.
So what they do, they turned off the insulin, gave you diabetic gaming to kill off the fuck niggas. What? Now that the fuck niggas are dead, now we could get back to doing things like we used to. We could get rid of the haters. And now we can get back to giving you guys, the average Joe,
now I lay me
what they want.
Down to sleep. I pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I should die before I wake, pray the Lord my soul to take. Hey, Dragon, you my dude, man. You on this motherfucker, some real live. They said you make K Mega sound like a goddamn genius. God.
Hey, I told you, bro. I'm not your average Xbox, my nigga. I'm a Tron, nigga. I transform.
Oh shit, man.
I transform.
You say you wearing out the #1 key, man. This guy's crazy with his phone, right? But listen, man. If you guys enjoyed the show today, man, my God. Woo, this motherfucker would have been auditioning for a role on BGST. He might have outdone the crap game today with some of this goddamn damage control. Woo! But listen, if you guys enjoyed the digital streets, all I ask is you to hit the like button. Shout out to Lionel Bulge and Guru Legends, Dragon Ball for you, Harry Halim, the Gamer M, all you guys that rocked out in the super chat. I appreciate it, man. Von Lamont, shout out to all you guys. And yeah, we're gonna pray for. We're gonna say a prayer for my brother Dragon Moore, man. That was some wild shit you just said today, man. That was some wild shit there,
Man, hey, it only gets deeper, bro. Like we can go real deep in the rabbit hole, son. I could let you know some real
I'm
shit.
gonna stay out that rabbit
telling
hole.
you.
I'm gonna stay out that foxhole. Nah, baby, we ain't about to do this one here, man. Listen, like I said, man. At the end of the day, right? All jokes aside, there's no excuse the way things are for Microsoft. And again, and it's why I give credit to Sony, is that they are, like you say, alpha male. This is a game for adults made by adults. And you have this Microsoft
Right.
this generation totally fumbling over themselves, afraid of their own shadow. You know what I mean? And go out there and just do it. Don't worry about pissing off people that already bought your platform. And stick to your guns. You know what I mean? If you have a vision, go out there and fucking do it. And again, you see, I'm gonna say this, and I always go back to it. Before you master one thing, or try to master so many, master one. You have Sony and Nintendo selling out more consoles than ever. The console business itself is growing, is healthier, uh, and why? And again, I understand that gaming things will evolve and go outside, like say a traditional console sort of way, but it seems like both Sony and Nintendo are getting it. You understand what I'm saying? And you're saying that Microsoft goal is to have this. So I get it, to have this software everywhere, right? But if you think about like the more hardware,
Just like Microsoft.
yeah, cool. But the more hardware they sell, if they give the things, because you have to have for your hardware to sell, you have to have something that's exclusive to you to make it unique. There's nothing just a prettier. We're not talking about PC guys. If you're just going to give me a prettier version of the same game and the same experience that I can get somewhere else for much cheaper, 9 times out of 10, people are going to keep what they have. You know what I mean, and not make the again over. So when you call the more hardware you have a bigger market share. Then we can get things that the 360 have, the Sony. And like I said, it's just Sony just went out that motherfucking out hustled them. You know what I mean? They did. And there's no excuse. They gave VR. They gave a Slim and the Pro. Still gave exclusives. Still had marketing deals, right? They got the biggest goddamn games this holiday season. They got fucking Red Dead Redemption 2. They have Call of Duty. They have NBA 2K, Destiny. This little motherfucking company that couldn't even fucking afford to have lunch. They was out that motherfucker eating peanut butter and jelly and fucking drywall smoothies. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shout out to my brother the Ruhan. What's good? Got almost missed the show. Put a rock. And guess awesome show, man. Listen, man, don't pat this fuck nigga on his back. You know what I mean? But
Hey,
again,
come on, man.
that's what I'm talking about. And I don't know, man. I look at him now as being Mr. Burns from fucking The Simpsons. He's evil. Like, the fuck are you doing? You got all this and not giving me anything. Like, I want you to be great. I just came to a point now, and before we get the hell up out of here, it's like I got to hop off. I can't do this anymore for my own sanity, man. Listen. For many years of my life, you had me believing a nigga on the cloud was sitting down just watching me, and what I mean, I had angels over me. I done got past that spooky shit there, right? I can't continue to keep going out there rooting for somebody that doesn't want to do it for themselves. Or look at that Inside Xbox show. Who the fuck is that for, Sway? Like, what the fuck are we doing? I can't do it anymore.
I mean, I don't know. I don't watch that. I don't
For
watch
my
it,
own
bro. So I
sanity,
can tell
man.
you.
I can't, man. Like, I can't go from the original, from the OG Xbox 3 to looking at goddamn games like Sea of Thieves, and motherfuckers is telling me that this is the game of the generation. For my own sanity, I can't do it, bro. I can't, man. I can't, and I demand
And like I
better.
said, bro, I get you. But once again, you represent the old guard. You are no longer relevant as a gamer and your style of gameplay. The world is moving forward. It's like you're sitting in a penthouse. It's beautiful. It's nice. It's laid out.
Okay.
But I'm in outer space,
Yeah.
which means I can see more than you,
Ah!
right?
Okay.
So I see what's coming down the pipeline. You don't, which is why all of this is like such a shocker to you, even though Microsoft has been talking
You hit
about
me with
this
that
since
DMS version.
2006.
Everything was black because my eyes was closed. This is who knows. But I'm just
So
saying.
open your eyes, man.
Last word, right? I can't let you. Gamer like me, I'm the own game, but you look at a game like God of War, right? 5 million. 28 days. Still a lot of motherfuckers out there like me. There are.
Good.
Got listen, 5 million in 28 days. So there's still a lot of motherfuckers out there like me. Still a valuable.
But you can't.
Look.
You once again,
Mhm.
5 million in 3 days, but it
28
hasn't
days.
moved the needle in 30 days. What does that tell you?
But it's gonna chart again.
Okay.
Bundles gonna be out for the holidays. It's gonna still continue to sell. But it is what it is. Like I said, guys, if you enjoyed the show today, man, my man, he didn't swallow the red, but he didn't swallow the green pill. I don't know what the fuck going on right here, man.
I swallowed the white one.
My man said he out of space with his shit here, man. But listen, thank you all, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat.
Shout out to the chat,
Yeah,
guys.
shout out to you guys, man. Ann Castle was good brother. Stosha was Harry Helene, Corey Massey, Dort, Lord Fusion, Ryan Lance, Tony Alicia, Danny Stab, BB Health, Stevens, D.I. Almighty, Garuda Legends, Garuda, Paul Gray, Kyle, who else we got in here? Smoke, Halo Storm, Weirdo Ass. Who else we got? Ali Austin. Shout out to you, my brother, the Ruhan. Ali Tussin. Smoke 901. Who else we got? Robert McLeod. Rafiza. Who else we got? Anybody else? Dark Link 99. BR Economy. Shout out to you. I think I got everybody. G Junior. Fernando Perez. Fernando Brand. I think I got everybody. Yeah. Lou. Shout out to Lou. I got everybody, I think. I got Ken Freeman. Shout out to you. Yeah. Appreciate it, man. We out here. Bang.
Peace.